whenever, like for example, over here x minus 1 is given. So if x minus 1 is a factor of this, then when you will equate x minus 1 to 0, you will get x is equal to 1, and x is equal to 1 will make this whole polynomial equal to 0. That is the meaning of factor. So in short, I can say that if this polynomial is, let's say, some fx, then f of 1 will be equal to 0 if x minus 1 is a factor. The same thing goes for 2x minus 1. So even f of 1 by 2 will be equal to 0. And these two equations will give me P and Q equations. Like when I solve using these two, I will get two conditions of P and Q. We can solve them simultaneously to get P and Q values. So just start with x is equal to 1. How we are getting x is equal to 1, it should be clear to everyone. Okay. Putting the value of x as 1 in that, I will get one equation, p plus q plus 7 is equal to 0. P plus q is equal to minus 7. Similarly, I'm waiting for another equation. So you guys give it a try. Okay, Akbar. Yes, Rakeen or Late. Anyone is getting the second equation?
No, sir, not yet. No, sir, I'm not getting it.
Putting x is equal to 1 by 2 will give me p times 1 by 2 cube plus q times 1 by 2 square. Rakeen, where are you getting stuck in this?
I don't know, sir. I'm getting some weird value.
It will look weird only, so maybe because of this you are thinking like this. 9 by 2 minus 2. If I take LCM of 2 and 1, I will get 9 minus 4 by 2. So, okay, let us take overall LCM. So overall LCM will be 4. So it will be P plus 2Q plus 9 fours are 36 and minus 16 is equal to 0. So P plus 2Q plus 20 is equal to 0. P plus 2Q is equal to minus 20. Now using these two equations, we can get P and Q values and we will be done. P plus 2Q is equal to minus 20 and P plus Q is equal to minus 7. If I subtract them, it will be Q is equal to minus 20 plus 7. Q is equal to minus 13. If I put this value of q over here, then p minus 13 is equal to minus 7. P is equal to 13 minus 7, that is 6. So P and Q values will be 6 and minus 13.
No, sir.
No, sir.
So first part is just, we need to plug the values.
So I'm getting two of the factors as, one of them as 2 and the other one as 0.
Okay. 144 and this will be 4 and okay. This is the first part. Now for second part, we can divide it. Again, I need to check. Okay, I don't have answers. Minus 18x cubed minus x squared plus 2x and x minus 2. So on division, I'll get 9x cubed minus 18x cubed. This will be plus, so this will become 0. Minus x squared plus 2x can be brought down. This will be minus x, so minus x squared plus 2x, it's gone. So it is very easy to solve from here because we are getting a very simple cubic equation. So 9x cubed minus x, when I will solve, it will be x, 9x squared minus 1. X is equal to 0 and 9x squared minus 1 is equal to 0. Now this 9x squared can also be written as 3x whole square minus 1 square, difference of squares. So 3x minus 1 and 3x plus 1 is equal to 0. So that will give me x is equal to 1 by 3 and minus 1 by 3. And x is equal to 2 is already there. So these are the 4 real solutions. It was looking difficult, but it is not when we are actually solving it. Yeah. So 4x squared minus 4x minus 3 is equal to 0. 2, 2, 3, 6, and 2. So 4x squared minus 6x plus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. 2x common, 2x minus 3 plus 1 common, 2x minus 3. So the factors are 2x plus 1 and 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. And one of the factor was already x plus 2. You should write that as well. This will be the answer for part B. And write down all the solutions. So for that, you will put all the factors equal to 0. X is minus 2. X is minus 1 by 2. And x is 3 by 2.
Yeah, so I got it now.
Yes, Laith, what's the status? Whenever a polynomial px is divided by some factor, let's say x minus a, and it's not getting divided perfectly, okay, means this is not a factor of this, but still we are dividing it. So in that case, it will not be divided and we are going to get some remainder. So the logic is that if px is divided by x minus a, then p of a will be the remainder. That is the remainder theorem. Now just try to recall the factor theorem. If x minus a is a factor, then p of a is equal to 0. So it's the same thing. Na? If something is a factor, then there will be no remainder. And if it is not a factor, then we will get some non-zero remainder. So in the upcoming question, we have to just use the similar steps what we were doing. But then since it is not a factor, so we will get some value, which will be the remainder. It is not necessary that remainder will always be some number only. It can be even some term, some expression. So that we'll see in the question. The expression gives a remainder of 14 when divided by minus 2, x minus 2. So if it is divided by x minus 2, it means that if this expression is, let's say, px, it means that p of 2 is actually equal to 14. That's what they are trying to say. Okay, and then it is giving a remainder of minus 86 when divided by x plus 3. Now, when you will equate x plus 3 to 0, you'll get x is equal to minus 3. It means they are trying to say that p of minus 3 is equal to minus 86. Now, next, what needs to be done that we have done in the very first question of today's lecture. I'm leaving for you now. Okay, so just give it a try. Frame the equations of A and B and then get those values. If any doubt is there in the working, you can ask. So when they're saying that it is divisible means remainder will be 0, it means that if I'm putting the value x is equal to 1 in that will become 0. Okay, let's say this is fx. So f of 1 is 0 because that's a factor. So late, that is why we do not require another remainder. Yes, Akbar, are you getting the equations?
No, sir.
First equation will be obtained using x is equal to 1 and that will be equated to 0 because that is a factor. It's divisible. Divisible means it's a factor. 3 minus 2 is 1. 1 minus p plus q is equal to 0. And I will get p minus q is equal to 1. For second equation, yes, late.
Uh, sir, what if it doesn't mention that it's divisible? What will we do then? Like, for example.
They will give the remainder.
Oh, so okay. Okay.
Okay, divisible means remainder 0. So indirectly they have given the remainder. In other words, you can say that they have given the remainder as 0.
Okay.
But leaves remainder 10 when divided by x plus 1. So x is equal to minus 1 in the function will give me 10. Second equation will come from there. So 3 times minus 1 cube plus 2 times minus 1 square minus p times minus 1 plus q is equal to 10. Minus 3 plus 2 plus p plus q is equal to 10. P plus q is equal to 11. P minus q is 1. Adding both the equations will give me 2p is equal to 12. P will be equal to 6. And if I put the value of p anywhere, I will get the value of q as, like if I put it over here only, then 11 minus 6 will be 5. So q is 5. Okay, so Lath and Akbar, look at the working. If there's anything which is not clear, I can explain again. Okay, so there will be final changes in the answer. So this is 2. And if I add 1 and 2 again, it will be 2p is equal to 16. P will be 8. I can put it back. I will get q is equal to 3. Yes, that was the mistake. But finally, you'll get the value of p and q. Again, are you getting the same value?
Yes, I'm getting the same value.
Okay. And Lath and Akbar, is it done?
Yes, sir. Write it down.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now the next part of this chapter is like algebraic methods, okay, where there can be any random question where they will ask you to prove something. Okay, so it is moreover like algebraic proof, which was there in year 11. In your GCSE, there was one chapter where we needed to prove the given equation, expression. Okay, so we'll try to discuss most of the questions from here, but you need to try some questions on your own as well for this topic to become better. Okay, so Rakeen, in your school, they are using that Collins book, na?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in that book, it is just pure mathematics. Like it is not P1, P2 kind of thing. That's what I was.
I don't know, because I'm assuming you just
No, no. Rakeen or Akbar, any one of you have anything in your mind?
No, sir.
Not really, sir. No.
Okay, so let us see how we can prove it. Now look, anything is an even number when it gives us kind of 2n kind of thing, or when 2 is common. Okay, but here we do not have anything like that. Okay, so how we can do, first thing is we should just factorize it. So if we factorize it, it will be n minus 1. Okay, now if you look at n and n minus 1, let's say if n is any odd number, if n is any odd number, so n can be written as some 2k plus 1. 2k plus 1 is a general odd number. Okay, so I will just replace n values by that, and I will get 2k plus 1 and 2k plus 1 minus 1. Now 2k plus 1 is an odd number. Okay, and 2k is an even number. So from here, I can see that this is 2 times of k and 2k plus 1. That's why this will always be even. Okay, we are halfway done with our answer. So just try to understand how we have to solve such questions. When it is a general way with which we have to prove it, so we have to take general values. So by taking n as odd, we are getting the final result as even. Next will be, let's say n is even. Okay, so if n is even, then n will be replaced by 2k. 2k is a general even number. So I will write both of them as 2k and 2k minus 1. So it is clear that from both of them, I have 2 common. Look, I am not bothered with whatever is there within the bracket. All what I want is that there should be 2 common whenever I solve this, as I was telling earlier. So from here also I can conclude that this is always even. So we will say that from both, it is concluded that n square minus n is always an even number. Okay, if you want, you can write it down as well. Okay, and these types of denominator, we can write it down as 1 minus root 2, 1 minus root 2, x times 1 minus root 2 divided by 1 square minus root 2 square, x times 1 minus root 2 divided by 1 minus 2. Because of that minus sign in the denominator, the numerator will be flipped. Flipped means the order of the terms will change. It will be x times root 2 minus 1. It's x root 2 minus x. We are done.